Welcome everybody to Championship Saturday with myself and my co-host Charles, and we have that beautiful sweater that you're wearing there. I like that a lot.
Thank you. It's my Christmas sweater.
Yeah.
My wife also mentioned it this morning. She goes, "That's a really nice. Oh, you're wearing a really nice sweater. What's going on?" I said, "Well, it's Christmas morning." She goes, "What?"
I can't wait to open that gift.
Yeah. I said, "But I can't really open my gift until shortly after 8-ish." She goes, "What are you talking about?" I said, well, "Michigan plays Iowa in the Big Ten championship, and Tony Petitti has to hand that potentially here, potentially
Here, let's
got
get
to
to that
hand
right
that.
away.
Yeah, he's got to
Let's,
hand that trophy right over to old Jimmy."
let's get it. Let's get into it right away. I've seen multiple. I know it is absolute bullshit, and there's probably no validity behind any of the statements. But I have seen, like you said, the scuttlebutt on Twitter and Instagram of the fact that he reached out to Discover and
Yeah.
doesn't want to hand the trophy off. Can anybody else do this? Because I'm too big of a bitch to hand this out to Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines. It's, to me, if that is true, that is the biggest bitch move ever, Charles.
How does this play out in your mind? You're the one who overstepped your bounds. And if this is true, speculation, if this is true, all that tells me, arguably from a psychological standpoint, is that you were wrong. And in your mind, you think you're wrong, because if you didn't think you were wrong, if you thought that everything was justified and you thought that arguably what you did was correct, then handing the trophy over to Jim Harbaugh would not be an issue to you, allegedly.
Okay, I have a question for you. This is more of a legal, but it probably comes to a legal thing, but more of probably just the Big Ten's rules thing. Who hangs up the banners in Indianapolis for the game? Michigan's not allowed to send their guys there to hang that up. That was hung up there by the Big Ten because it says free Harbaugh.
Does it really, or is that a meme?
No, that's real. Yeah,
Really?
there was multiple pictures. I thought it was fake too, but then it was circulating. And I'm like, there's other photos from other
Swanky's
angles.
good.
If it's a
Swanky's
meme,
good.
if it's a meme, good one, and that's all I can say. But if that's real, holy shit, dude. I didn't comment and say it was real, but I was
Yeah.
like, I sent it to you. I said, if that's true, what a hypocrite. What a fucking
What
hypocrite.
the fuck, man? Yeah, there's a lot going on. Like I said, this is Christmas morning to me. For one, this is chaos. This whole weekend is fucking chaos. For us in Green Bay, for fucking Swifty watch. Jeez.
Yeah, we were at that concert and Green Bay was already getting fucking crazy. So
It's already crazy. I know. So
there's
anywho,
yeah.
but championship week, we'll jump into that in a minute. I side quest this often. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. We do it a lot. That's okay.
But so you got championship weekend, and here's the kicker. I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but this is the last 4x4 weekend. Okay, this is the last weekend where the college football playoff is 4 teams.
Yeah.
And if Florida State wins, Washington won last night. If Florida State wins, they're already coming into this weekend as number 4.
Yeah, they can't move down. That's
They're
the whole
not
thing.
going to move down. It becomes the very first, while the last ever college football playoff where 4 teams were 12-0.
Yeah. So why not put them in? Exactly.
Why not put them in? I don't want to hear this shit about the SEC. I don't want to hear this shit about fucking Alabama anymore. I don't want to hear this shit about Texas anymore. It is what it is.
If you guys, speaking of which, if you guys want some humor, I did put out a reel on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. No, I didn't put it on Twitter, but it is out there on our TikTok page as well. It is a meme going around of the Ohio State Buckeye fan base saying that they should be number 1, Michigan should be number 3. It was Washington sneaks in, and then it was Georgia number, I think 2 or something. It is the most ridiculous thing. But if you listen to any Ohio State fan out there, this is what they believe. Even after the game last night, Washington looking dominant for the first half, and then getting a slug out towards the end. But I don't know. It's delusional. I don't get it, and I think it's hilarious that their whole fan base is crumbling right in front of them.
It's so bad, dude. It's so bad. And it's a testament to the Michigan fan base, for one. It was
Michigan has held true. Yeah.
during Urban Meyer.
Oh yeah. We could have crumbled.
And, and, and it's just
You can laugh. It's fine. I
no,
understand
no,
exactly.
no.
I'm thinking in your head right now. I know what you want to say, but it's just like we all know as Michigan fans, we don't have to say it. And honestly, I reached out to an Ohio State fan, Charles, a really big one on Twitter, and him and I have been talking back and forth with pretty good discourse. I believe he's going to come on, but he wants to come on like when the playoffs go on, so he can talk about. He made a really good point. I was going to read you his Twitter account. It said Michigan needs to stay humble. Remember TCU? Nobody thought TCU, and you were Michigan.
Yeah.
You're Michigan. If it was Ohio State or Michigan, and he said represent the Big Ten, he goes, but be humble because you could be TCU like you said all over again. Washington could easily do to Michigan what TCU did to him.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing, I think what comes with that is that we lived that already. You know what I'm saying?
I think relating more to he wasn't relating to the team. I think he was talking about the fan base.
Oh yeah,
the fan base is so freaking high on this team. It's you guys got to remember when it gets to the Final Four, every one of these teams could play their best game and win.
Oh, yeah,
that's how it is.
Absolutely. And I think the matchups are going to be Michigan versus Washington and Georgia versus Florida State.
You believe that an 13-0 Washington team is going to be in third? You think Michigan?
Yeah.
I think Michigan wins. They're staying at 2. They're not moving up to 1, even if they win 90-0. But
now Georgia loses, Michigan moves to 1, Washington moves to 2, Florida State moves to 3, and suck a bag, Georgia falls to 4.
See, I saw some crazy fucking thing where a guy put it in really good perspective that Washington, now that they beat Oregon, has the best record as far as beating ranked teams. They've beaten 3 teams in the top 15. No other team's done that.
My problem with this is that the Pac-12 got too much love this year because it was their last year. They got weight, and every single time they put one of their fucking teams up in some rank-ass position, 2 weeks later, if they weren't the fuck all the way out of the rankings, they were back in the bottom 25. There was just way too much love towards the Pac-12. Way too much.
You think that's bad? You should see them. You should see Feinbaum ripping on the ACC. He's not even ripping on Michigan anymore because he knows Michigan's in. He's ripping on FSU, playing a Louisville team who beat. Who did they beat?
They beat Notre Dame. Everyone was high on Notre Dame, Dick.
But then they turned around and got their ass whooped by
Kentucky,
some crappy team. Yeah. I don't get it. A mediocre Kentucky team at that. Not even a great Kentucky team.
Yeah, but you look at arguably in the SEC. I think you've got Georgia, you've got Alabama, and then the next great team that everyone keeps talking about, I think, is Missouri. I don't think you have another great. LSU was cool, but LSU has too many problems on the sideline. Their gameplay affected that. Do they have ballers on that field? Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I was looking into that quarterback. Oh my God. LSU's a great team,
defense.
Don't take it that way. But they didn't play like a great team this year.
No, I believe he probably, if his defense was better, he would have won the Heisman.
Yeah.
Because his stats are insane.
Absolutely. If they were coached better, they would have won they would have won way more games.
Bo Nix didn't look like the Heisman last night. No. Well, neither did Penix either.
His energy didn't either. Absolutely.
He looked good and he was a leader out there, but he didn't look like, oh my God, he was.
When you got 13-6, you showed me that. You showed me that. Yes, you showed me that stat earlier. They got 13 6-year seniors, 6th-year seniors on that team.
But you wonder why they're good.
Fart veteran, and it's being sniffed out the air. It's got to be hard to break that locker room, and you got to give them credit, man. I said it to you in messages. Okay. Oregon went into that game expecting to win, and Washington came to play.
Yeah.
And it showed on the field, and Oregon ended up losing by 3 points again. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. For one,
I think they're 3 points better. I think they're 3 points better. And the sad thing is, both games, I think the line was 3.5 or 4, but then this one was 9.5. The first game was 3.5, 4. This game
Yeah.
was 9.5, and I was like, when I saw that line, that screamed to me. I don't bet. Obviously, we live in a state
Right.
we can't bet and gamble, but the simple fact that it was 9.5, it was just nuts. That's way too many points at a championship game. I don't care who's. I think the Michigan one is actually too high because I think Iowa will keep it close because they'll do something stupid to keep it close. They'll play that slow ball like they do in basketball where teams can't score, so they just pass the ball around. I think Iowa's going to just try to run the ball and
Michigan's got big
1-2
plays all
yards.
over them. I think that's the difference in the game. Roman Wilson, he's going to get behind that defense a lot. We're going to see the Michigan that plays. Okay, so Michigan that plays great teams, right? We play tough, we play hard, we battle them down, and we break them when we break them. But them other teams that we play, we break them much earlier. And I believe this is going to be one of those games.
I think these are two of the least penalized teams. Michigan is the least penalized team in the Big Ten. I think Iowa's up there too as one of the least penalized teams. Here's the kicker. I saw a guy post on his Twitter. Obviously, this is just people, these are personal opinions and whatnot. But he posted on his Twitter, he said that look at who the officiating crew is for the Michigan game. Apparently, one of the guys officiated an Iowa game, was Iowa, Nebraska, where there was 37 penalties called. And they said, this guy throws the flag out of his pocket like he's feeding fucking seagulls French fries. And I shit you not. When he said that, I was like, that's fucking hilarious. And then I was like, this could happen. This could become an ugly fucking game. Because if this guy's flag fucking hungry and he wants to flash his fucking shit and be on TV all the time, this isn't good. And it's going to make for bad football. And it's going to make
for a bad product on the field.
It's going to make for the committee to go, oh, Michigan had 13 turnovers for 85 yards. Because Captain fucking Yellow wanted to fucking throw the flag around like he was fucking Ronald McDonald.
I don't think any of that really matters. I don't think it's a very good point. It's a very good point. But
was flag happy.
And it's funny you said that too, because when you started that, I was like, damn, man, this game might be over in an hour and a half. And and then you were talking about the ref. And I'm like, fuck, this might be a 3.5, 4 hour game because of that.
These are things that
Michigan's
people
weathered
do.
for that. You look at the first half of the Ohio State game.
Yeah.
And the first half of the Penn State game. It's ridiculous when the refs have to come out and make it a point to hunt the other team to make sure there is an unbiased report at the end of the game. And at times in the second half of Michigan's games, it feels arguably like the refs are like, well, what did we do? And now Michigan are getting a few ghost calls to pick up for the bullshit in the beginning of the game. Miss holds on centers causing touchdowns, miss holds, miss fucking defense here and there in the entire first half.
In that Ohio State game, not so much the Penn State game, but the Ohio State game, there was a lot on both sides. I was being pretty honest. I was like, oh, Michigan held on that play. There was that touchdown play. I'm like, here's the thing. The officials, if they want to let a little bit of shit slide, they're going to let these guys play, especially in big games like that. They don't want their call to determine the game, just like that touchdown pass that he caught. Shin was down. They reviewed it. They got the same video. If a guy that has the All-22 app on his phone can break it down, so can the freaking people up in the booth. These guys are professionals. We rip on them all the time for getting stupid calls wrong, but it seems like they get more right than they get wrong.
And we don't know the
I don't know what they have.
We don't know the protocol. We don't know. What we see on the field is what we think.
And I don't know all the rules in football. I play football and I don't know all the rules.
I mean, you hear the NFL referee analyst come on often. And even in the college game, you hear it from time too. Benefit of the doubt is drawn into the equation. So if benefit of the doubt is drawn into the equation while it's live, it has to be taken into consideration while watching the replay. Benefit of the doubt goes in these situations towards the call on the field or the quarterback. That's it.
It's in favor. It's in favor of what he's like 4 out of 5 times. It's going to be in favor of the call on the field for sure.
Absolutely. Just think about it. Think about it. You can't be knocking your boy while you're on the field, but you're going to bring him into the back room afterwards and beat the fuck out of him. All I'm saying.
All right. There's one last night that was I thought that if they went nuts when this happened. Remember when Penix, big Penix energy, got his arm hit
Yeah, the
as the
fumble.
ball was going forward? Yes, and then he picked up the ball. That guy ran that fucker back for a touchdown.
Yeah,
So had that call on the field stayed fumble,
yeah.
it would have been this whole game would have been
Well, if
Oregon
that
probably would have
drive,
won.
dude, that drive alone, I'm pretty sure 2 turnovers were gifted back to Washington when they scored.
But
I
the
remember watching something about an interception, and then was that on Oregon's defense, or was it on the refs trying to I get this weird feeling at times that referees feel like they have to be the older sibling, and they try to manage one side more than the other to ensure the product on the field is better. And it's very irritating to me at
oh
times.
yeah,
I'm probably
absolutely.
wrong, but you just get the feeling way too many times like, this feels like broken glass.
We can sit here all day and say that they make a call this way or that way and it can swing the game, which it does. Yeah, of course they try to dictate the flow in a way that is entertaining for people and keeps the game flowing in an even pace. They don't want to see them going backwards all the time, and they also don't want to see the ball going 900 miles an hour down the field and there not being anybody tackling anybody either. They don't want to see touchdown. They want the game to have a flow, defense, the crowd getting into it, because we've seen one-sided games plenty of times. Remember, we wanted to bring this up with Brandstetter and ask him, how do you keep your composure when a game gets out of hand?
Yeah.
That was one of the things we wanted to ask in a play-by-play guy. It's probably not easy because your emotions get the best you just watching a game. I can't imagine being up in the booth.
Which you and I had both touched this week on Joel Klatt's recall of the Zach Zinter scenario. And listen, we all know Joel and Gus are big Michigan fans. We get it. Okay. That is not a hidden.
No, it's not,
fact.
unless you've been living in a closet for the last 12, 13 years. I think Gus Johnson actually is a huge Michigan fan, I believe.
Huge. Yeah. Absolutely. I guess what I would be looking for in that scenario, then I'm not looking for you to head up to the booth with Michigan on you. But if I can create a drinking game to the world famous Ohio State Buckeyes, or if I can create a drinking scenario with, there's a fine line between being unbiased and being a douchebag.
I said this to an Ohio State fan, and he actually agreed with me. You need announcers up in the booth who have an impartial view while looking through an empty looking. What was it? Yeah. An impartial view looking through the glass. The glass is going to be half empty. If you're looking at it, oh man, just pour me another bottle of wine or another beer because I'm love drunk on the world famous Ohio State Buckeyes. That is the most cringeworthy comment ever. It gets to people. Even Ohio State fans are like, man, just stop with that. Just call us Ohio State for fuck's sake.
When you bring up these commentators, they all have the same foundation, I guess would be the word I'm looking for. The building might look different on the outside, but the inside's all the same and the foundation's all the same. Just call the fucking game, man. Like,
I'm gonna write up. We're gonna have a skit when we have Paul and Mike back on.
Yeah.
I want to write one up. I'm gonna write up a Philadelphia one for Mike. For Paul, I'm gonna write up a Chicago one. For you and I, we'll do the Packers. And I'm gonna relive the crappy days when Green Bay was bad. I'll relive the Bear days when they were good with Walter Payton. And I will redo when Donovan McNabb was there. And I'll recap. What I'll do is I'll go in and I'll get the transcripts from those games in a bad play, a bad situation. And we will I'll get you the transcript. And I want you to do your best sports broadcaster voice.
Oh, nice.
And see if you can can you feel that energy? Because that's what these guys do. They create that. But we're not getting that with Joel and frickin' Gus when Michigan and Ohio State are playing. It's a weird feeling.
I got to tell you, Who did a really good fucking job? I think it was last weekend. Jason Garrett.
Jason Garrett's pretty good.
I loved having Jason Garrett and Tony Romo. I love that mind in the booth. I love that being able to look at the field and discuss what's happening on both sides with absolutely no judgment, right?
Who
Rex
else
Ryan,
deserves?
absolutely horrible at this. Who else?
Who's a college guy who deserves more is Jake Butt. Jake Butt's a pretty good announcer too. He's a Michigan.
He fell off at that one Big Ten game. What was it? Who were we playing? Maryland?
He got really emotional, I think is what it was. And yeah, it got to him. But he had some pretty good takes. Yeah, he's pretty
got
good.
Some pretty good takes. And I like that. I like that mind. I like being able to see what you're seeing, not hear about what I'm seeing. I think that Jim does a really good job with that too. I think that right there, I think that's what needs to be bottled. Don't tell me what I'm seeing. Tell me what you're seeing. Don't tell me how you're feeling or how I should be feeling. Tell me how the game is feeling.
See, this is why I don't understand how Fox still has Urban Meyer and stuff like that on. Urban Meyer knows football. Urban Meyer knows he's a good coach. He was a great coach. The problem with Urban Meyer being on the sidelines and talking about, everybody wants his opinion because they call him coach. And then Woodson fricking picks it apart and says, "You never been on the field there, Urban, so you don't know." I like it when he does that to him. He pulls it out and he's like, "You never been in those situations live on the field." He goes, "It's loud in that stadium." And Charles is like, he's like, all you hear is, ha, ha. And did Urban Meyer ever even play football?
I don't know. If he did, not very well.
I'm gonna look that up.
If he did, this is a discussion that's easily fixed. Even if he did, not very well. No.
All right, I'm gonna look this up.
Yeah, you look this up. So while you're looking that up, I want to mark off Texas, Oklahoma State. I don't think that's going to be a really good game at all. SMU, Tulane. I think that's going to be a really good game, and that'll be fun to see. Random ass notifications. Michigan, Iowa. I've heard. Okay,
Charles.
Did he play football?
Urban Meyer was born in Toledo, Ohio, grew up in Ashtabula, Ohio, and attended the University of Cincinnati. While he played football as a defensive back, then it jumps right to, while at the University of Florida, he coached the Gators to 2 BCS national championship game victories in the 2006, 2008 season. So apparently this dude must have just been on the bench. Yeah, he got in. Whatever.
If he played football, it wasn't very good.
Props to you, Urban. You did play D1 football, so I'm not gonna knock him for that.
Oh yeah. Well, I can. I went to war. That dude's a pussy.
Right. I wasn't the greatest football player either, so I can't say much.
I can't say,
but I did play.
So anywho, you got SMU, Tulane. Honestly, I don't know where the great game's going to come in at outside of Georgia, Alabama, and that just has the potential. If Kirby Smart shows up the same way he shows up against every team that they play 5 or higher.
Honestly, I think the Louisville Florida State game is a pick 'em
because of the quarterback situation. Yeah, and even their next guy up is in concussion protocol. He is
the Rodemeyer or whatever hell his name was. Yeah,
he's an absolute game time decision, and I don't know if that's just a chess move or not, because
it's.
My thought process with it is that if he wasn't good enough to play, this is college football, he wouldn't be playing.
No, you need your team focused with the best players on the field.
Right.
You can't have them sit there speculating who's going to be out there.
I think he's going to be playing. I think it's going to be just fine. I wouldn't really which still puts that game up in the air. They were only able to bring up 200 yards of offense, but a win's going to be a win for these guys.
I would really like to. I think the committee is going to have the problem with the committee is actually going to be with the 3 seed, because I think if Alabama beats Georgia, it makes it a lot easier for them to just say, Georgia, you're out, Alabama, you're in, and they could justify it by saying Georgia didn't play nobody or they played a weak schedule.
This would be the first time ever, though, a 1 dropped to a 5 in championship week. It just doesn't happen. Ohio State dropped from 2 to 6.
Yeah, so they dropped 4 spots, so it's possible.
But I think that's a completely different scenario. The season's arguably over.
I don't know. What's Georgia's best win?
Oh, I
How do
don't
you?
disagree with you. Listen, I absolutely don't disagree with you.
No,
But
I'm saying
Texas
this is
over, but Texas, this, I think this is where it gets muddled, right? Because this is exactly what you're getting into. This is what I mean. We're
yeah.
splitting hairs between who had a better win at a random fucking point in the season.
Let's get into it. Fuck it.
I,
Let's say chaos. Let's say chaos happens. All right.
but I don't have much thought on it because I don't think it's going to. I don't think Florida State's going to have a problem with Louisville. I think Florida State's defense is going to shut Louisville down. I think Florida State's going to win. And there's no arguable way you're going to put any one-loss team in over a conference champion
No,
without a loss.
No, I said let's get into it. This is the chaos. Right. If Alabama beats Georgia, that is the chaos. Who do you put in?
I still stand by Michigan won.
If Alabama wins,
Michigan,
if Georgia wins, Michigan's going to be one.
If Alabama wins, Michigan's number one.
Right. This is a hypothetical for Alabama. Okay.
And it sucks to be Alabama, but I'm sorry.
No, it does suck to be Alabama.
It also depends on the loss and all this, but I'm telling you.
Because Texas is going to have a crazy case if Alabama beats Georgia.
If Alabama beats Georgia, Texas is better than Alabama. That's my point.
I know. That's why I said the Alabama game could cause so much chaos. There's three possible teams with the Alabama thing.
Real quick. I'm telling you, it's going to be Michigan number 1, Washington number 2, Florida State number 3, and Georgia number 4. I just do not see.
You think they're going to?
If Alabama goes in and beats Georgia by 40, then yeah, that's a different story. But even if Alabama wins, do we see them beating Georgia by more than 20?
But you really believe they're going to leave a 13-0 Florida State team out of the playoffs?
I told you they'd be number 3, dude. You would have Michigan number 1, Washington number 2, Florida State number 3, and Georgia number 4.
You don't. If Alabama wins, you're still putting Georgia in?
Yes, absolutely.
I don't think that's ever happened. Where the SEC.
What else never happened? A 1 has never dropped to a 5 after fucking rivalry.
Yeah, but that's also the SEC is different. It's still one of their boys, regardless. They're not going to fucking. But
I can't take Alabama's history out of the scenario, and we're just talking about this season. Georgia's a better team.
We're going to find out. They play each other head to head.
I think the Georgia's schedule. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think Georgia's going to have a problem with Alabama. I really don't. You have a lot of scenarios coming into play. Alabama has beaten Georgia in every SEC championship. Yeah, that's fine. But Georgia the last 3 years has had better teams than Alabama in the last 10 years.
I don't know if I watched that Georgia Tech game, and I don't know if Georgia's even remotely as good as they were last year.
I don't disagree with you on that.
Yeah, last year they were just
that Georgia Tech game highly, by the way. They've
already you can look at it because they gave you a script on how to beat them.
No, I'm saying that Georgia's win over Georgia Tech in that environment is why they stayed at number 1.
That's ridiculous. Georgia Tech environment.
The committee came right out and said it. That's why Georgia is number 1 and not Michigan.
That is
Michigan
the dumbest.
Is rightfully number 2. Michigan
that's the dumbest take. I can't believe
that's who we're dealing with, bro.
That's why. Trust me, the guy who fucking has beef with so many freaking people on Twitter absolutely knows. Dan Dockich, freaking double vodka Don from Barstool. These guys talk to me like back and forth, and I absolutely want to ignore them, but I love getting in a little banter, bitch fits with them. It's fun. Just so if you guys didn't know, the Boys in the Woods in somebody from Barstool Sports, if you want to reach out there and let Double Vodka Don know that the Boys in the Woods would wipe the floor with him vocabulary wise, and let's just have him on. But he won't come on. He's a bitch. So sucks for you.
But back to this rando scenario, though. I mean, for one, Alabama right now is ranked number 8.
Yeah.
How the hell, even with a win against Georgia, how is Georgia going to go from 1 to 5 and Alabama 8 to 4?
Charles,
8 to 3?
I don't know.
No,
I don't know, but they are so up the SEC's ass that they would do it. Of any team, I'm just saying that's the team
Well,
that they would do it for.
in that reality, I can't argue, right? If the college football committee sucks SEC dick, then yeah, they'll take Alabama from 8 and move them up to 2 or 3 or 1, however, however that
I
fits
know.
in that fucking world, sure. But no, that's not who the college football playoff committee is. Okay, for one, they hate confrontation. They take the easy road more often than not. If Florida State wins, they're in. And Georgia is not going to go from 1 to 5 and Alabama 8 to 4. It's never happened because it can't happen. Right now, the committee is telling you that 7, 6, and 5, which that's Oregon now.
They've never had this situation before, though, either. It's always been pretty cookie cutter and easy for them. It's never been this difficult.
No, Ohio State was controversial last year.
It was not that that was only their only loss. It wasn't that controversial.
I'm saying it's the same scenario, though.
It's a one-loss team, but they've never had
Ohio
where
State
teams
didn't
beat
come
each
from,
other.
Ohio State didn't come from 8. That the other thing people really need to focus on, right, is where you are in the rankings coming into this week. It's why Nick Saban has been on his fucking horse on every.
I thought Alabama was only 7th in the college football ranking, the playoff rankings. I thought they were 7.
According to this up-to-date NCAA projected picture.
So is Texas? Who's 7? Texas?
They're not even playing. Oh, yeah. Texas is 7.
Texas. Okay.
So
okay. Yeah.
Texas is going to get in over Alabama no matter what happens
because
in that scenario.
Because they're both playing today. They're both playing the championship game.
They're both playing today.
I agree with you.
And they have Texas ranked higher than Alabama. So if there is a drop, Texas is going to move 3 before Alabama moves 4.
Here's the thing. Remember when we had the BCS, at least you had point totals next to the teams so you could understand how the voting went. The college football playoff doesn't give you the point rankings. Do you know what I mean? They're ranking them.
Georgia's strength of schedule and wins are better than Alabama's. It doesn't matter what you and I think their wins are better or losses are better. Auburn wasn't a good win.
I thought they were not doing strength of schedule anymore. I thought that's why they got rid of the BCS.
When it comes down to picking apart hairs, it's strength of schedule and wins. And this, how they're projected into this weekend, holds more than really anything else. Now, again, if Texas loses to Oklahoma State by 10,
oh yeah, they're out. They're not
Florida
even.
State loses to Louisville by 10.
It's Georgia and Alabama, regardless what happens then.
Actually, Ohio State is going to walk in.
You think they would walk in over Alabama and Georgia getting in?
Because of where they are right now in the rankings. And a loss to Michigan is a lot better than a loss to Oklahoma State or a loss to Louisville. And they're at 6 right now. Texas is at 7 and Alabama's at 8. So that is the committee telling you straight up that Ohio State is better than Texas and Alabama. So it's a fucking ladder. You know what I'm saying?
I know it's a ladder, but like you said,
even if Alabama beats Georgia, even if let's say Alabama beats Georgia and Louisville beats Florida State, that's Ohio State and Texas. That's not Alabama and Georgia.
Do you want to know what I think happens? I think Alabama does beat Georgia. Alabama moves up to 5.
Yeah.
And everything stays exactly the same.
Can I ask, just take the last 3 weeks into consideration.
Yeah.
What makes you feel Alabama is going to beat Georgia? At
least Alabama played somebody. Auburn was a pretty decent defensive team. Georgia Tech is fucking terrible.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you.
And Alabama, for one, Alabama's been playing better football in Georgia the last 3 weeks. Stat-wise,
I think that they should have won that Iron Bowl by 20.
Should have.
I don't. I mean, I don't. It's hard for me to see that. It's Alabama the first 4 weeks is more like Alabama the last 3 weeks to me than Alabama the middle.
One word why I'm going to pick Alabama over Georgia. Saban.
Yeah.
Who's got the better coach? Who's got the better offensive coordinator?
This year, right now,
defensive coordinator, I would give it to Georgia, but offensive coordinator and coach, I give it to Alabama.
yeah, I give the coach to Georgia, man.
Fuck Kirby Smart. No way.
I'm just saying, this is a what have you done lately, not what have you done in the past. And the past has not been kind to Saban in the last 5 years, arguably 4. You're not wrong, though. We'll see. We'll definitely see. It's going to be. I hate that it's the 3 p.m. game.
Why?
I can't.
I don't care.
That's out of all this list.
I want that. I want to know what's going on. I want them to have. I want them to have to stew on it, Charles.
That's a good point.
I want them to have to stew on it all night.
Before the game. I'd want to know
exactly.
But I'd rather Florida State and Louisville be at 3 p.m. than Georgia and Alabama. Then you've got Michigan, Iowa, Georgia, and Alabama. Oh, I guess I see why you're doing that.
So
they don't expect people but
Charles,
Florida to watch that fucking game.
Okay, so we'll stay on this for one more minute just so that I can. You say that if Alabama does beat Georgia, which you don't think is going to happen, Alabama would move up. I don't think they're moving up in the top 5. I think Georgia's in regardless what happens. But I think what it is, Michigan moves up to 1, like you said, Washington 2.
Yeah.
So then Michigan would end up playing what? Georgia? Again? Rematch?
That would be crazy. But yeah, that's how it would pan out. It would. I can see. I thought the best college football playoff games was going to be Georgia, Oregon, Michigan, Texas.
You know what?
Now,
I agree with you. I think Georgia only falls to 3 from 1 if they lose.
I can't. I
think Michigan and them switch places.
Michigan is going to play Florida State. In that scenario, Florida State will stay number 4. I don't care what. If Florida State wins, they're staying number 4.
Exactly. I agree with you. I don't
know who can go.
I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah. Who could go to 3 in that scenario would only be Georgia, because if Alabama came into this week as 5, that's different. That's a completely different world, right? But the number 5 already lost, and you're not going to get bumped up in that scenario. The 5 already lost, which sucks for 6, 7, and 8.
That's the thing, dude. The bugaboo, like you said, is Texas. Texas is this tick that's hanging on for dear life. It's hanging on
Texas
to Alabama.
Is
and like
the
you
reason
said,
Alabama doesn't get in regardless. No matter what Alabama does, I think Texas is the reason they don't get in.
Oh, yeah. No, that's 100%. You're not going to jump the guy that beat you. That's exactly why they're sitting where they're sitting.
And even if Georgia loses, because of where everything is set right now.
Worst case scenario,
I could see them even being number 2, bro.
No, they won't drop the 2.
I don't disagree with you.
If they lose by 1, or it's a last second, maybe
absolutely.
But they're not dropping out of the top 4.
I think Georgia's going to win by 14. I think they're going to win by 17. To be honest with you, I think this is going to be like a 27-14-ish game.
I don't know about that.
I think the weapons on Georgia are better and the defense is better. The coaches are what they are. It's great, but Kirby Smart is still a great coach. He's won 2 fucking national championships back to back. That is veteran presence on that fucking sideline.
But
Alabama's got a 2. But
Georgia don't even only half that team is back that was there last year. So you can't say back to back.
Are we talking about Georgia versus Michigan or Georgia versus Alabama? Because if we're talking about Georgia versus Alabama, I'm sticking with my comments here.
If we're talking about
Georgia versus Michigan, that's a different story.
Alabama's got more talent. Alabama has more 5 stars, has a better overall whatever score that is.
Who's getting more from their players though? Then, if Alabama's got more 5 stars on paper, Georgia's
Alabama they also started a freshman quarterback, and he's finally figuring it out.
Which tells me arguably this ain't Alabama's year; it's next year. They've had a lot. Listen, Alabama is a great team. They're a great team, but they're an 8 for a reason, and that's the product they've put on the field leading up to this moment.
What do you think the line is
for the Georgia-Alabama game?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh no, I know. I think you know what the line is.
No, I don't. I haven't looked at it at all.
I'm talking about. like the total points
Oh, the
scored.
total?
Yeah.
38 and a half.
54 and a half.
Okay, so
So
yeah.
they're expecting a shootout pretty much.
How?
I'm just saying, I want to go into something. I want to look at
Yeah.
their defensive rankings. I think you and I are, but we're both on the same page as far as do they have any comparable wins or games? All right, here we go. Georgia beat Tennessee 38-10. Alabama beat them 34-20, but it was 34-13. Very comparable scores against head-to-head teams that they played. They're very close, like 49. Alabama scored 49. They scored
I guess
52.
in this season, then the ultimate defining factor would be who finished and who
Yeah.
failed or who fell, right? Georgia finishes. It's just like it's the same thing with this Eagles scenario. That's fucking great. But there's a reason Hertzie is 27-2. There's a reason the Eagles are 10-1. You could talk about the one portion of their defense all you want. The fact of the matter is they're finishing the game. And really what it boils down to is who's finishing the game. What I remember this season from Georgia, and it's the thing that scares me. It doesn't frighten me, it scares me. Is that when it came time for them to play, they showed up and showed up tough. Who knows? It's Michigan was beating the fuck out of teams that they were supposed to, and we were doing it with 75 players, not just 23. Yeah. Right?
Correct.
Okay, so we're gifted in that realm right now with blurred vision, in my opinion. But to me, it's just so hard not to look at a team with 29 straight wins or 27 straight wins and go a number 8 who struggled all season to find out who they were until the end, and then even at the end struggled some more.
I lied,
come in and do something special.
Milrose a junior. He redshirted in 21.
Okay. He wasn't even the guy they started with. He's just the guy they ended up with.
Hell, yeah, I was wrong. He's got 21 touchdowns, 6 picks. I always bring this word up, and to me, it just means he gets it done. Serviceable. I always say that word like it's something. It's just something I say. I guess if you want to take it a different way, you can take it any way you want. But to me, that just means that he gets the job done.
Yeah.
I don't know. The line is 4. Georgia by 4.
And I believe that has everything to do with Alabama, or I meant Nick Saban. And I believe that is the Nick Saban factor, because that line should be 7.5.
There is a respect thing, and that whole Oregon thing last night was weird.
This game is way closer to Georgia's front door than Alabama's. This is going to be a home crowd for Georgia.
Oh, they both will show up, though. It'll probably be 50-50
absolutely.
split.
It's just like Michigan. But the fact of the matter is, bro, it's like an hour and a half away from Georgia's front door.
Where is it? Is it in Atlanta?
Yes.
Why do they do that? Not to be mean.
That's
but why
where the SEC championship is. That's where the NFL
I know, but why the fuck? Why?
I know. That's what I said. So in that reality,
I know why they do it.
You may have swayed a little bit here, because in that reality, Georgia is definitely looked at as the home team. And don't home teams get a field goal advantage?
Correct.
So is this line more 1 than 4?
I don't know. Honestly,
because they're an hour away from their front door. That's a home game.
If it's in the same state that you live in, it's a home game regardless. Let's just be honest. How many Georgia fans probably live in Atlanta? I bet you 500,000.
It's hard not to walk down that street and get a That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I follow a guy on TikTok that's a huge Georgia fan, and he does that thing like the Ohio State guy does with the red metallic face paint, but he does he paints his face like a red dog, like that Mad Dog that was on that old beer back in the day.
I am wondering, Mad Dog beer? Where's our Wolverine at, bro? We got the Frozen Tundra guy. You got Big Nut.
Dude, he talked about it. Remember that TV commercial for the Heisman? He's like, Eddie George is there. He's like, found out why we can't have a Wolverine as a mascot.
Ticket holder somewhere around the age of 28 to 32 who could become this legend. Figure it out.
Dude, fuck it, Charles. Get a hold of one of your buddies that you met in Alaska and have them trap us one. We'll bring one down to him.
They would.
So
No.
that's the only place
They
I know
would.
where there is Wolverines is Canada and Alaska. So,
All
or
right,
there's probably some
let's
of the
go through
Arctic
these.
somewhere, but
Let's go through these real quick. Let's get our
all
pick'ems in,
right,
and then we
let's
can
get our
jump to the
picks in
NFL
here.
real quick. Okay, so you got Oklahoma State, Texas. I'm taking Texas.
I got Texas by at
Let me
least
write
20.
this down. Let me write this down just in
Okay.
case. Let me write this
Yep.
down. So we both got Texas. All
Yep.
right. We got Texas. Okay, so we got Miami, Ohio versus number 23, Toledo. You know what?
I got to watch a couple Toledo games. Did you watch any Toledo games?
I have not watched any Toledo games. So
I watched one MAC game and it was on ESPN like at 11 o'clock at night one night on a Thursday.
I don't think the rank really matters here.
No, probably not. But I'm going to say Toledo scores more points on average. So they probably have better offense.
All right. So you got Toledo. We got Toledo in that one. We'll take it. So SMU, Tulane. I like Tulane. I like what Tulane's been doing here. Offensively, they're good. Defensively, they will allow some shit. SMU is exactly where they are every year. I think there's magic happening down with Trent Dilfer down there in old Tulane. I like Tulane on this one. Even after all that coaching debacle.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I like them too, but it's just Tulane.
I think they only have one loss on the season, dude.
Tulane, I think they lost to I can't remember, but I remember
it was a breakdown from the players and a travesty for the coaching staff, which they all learned from and moved forward with.
There's a really good player, running back. I believe he plays for Tennessee, got drafted. It was Tyjae Spears. I think he played for Tulane. He was a really good running back coming out of college, and I think he had a couple injuries or whatever, but he'll be all right.
So then we've got, which I'm pretty sure we're split on this one, but we've got Georgia, Alabama. I'm taking Georgia in this one. I don't think.
All right, I got Alabama. Man, it's Saban.
In Saban, you trust. I get it.
Saban, I trust.
I get it. I think this is a very wobbly ledge. I think this is a wobbly ledge. I think we're either going to find the strong point, which is Saban, or it's going to break, and it's going to be the fall of Alabama.
You didn't even bring up that your boy is back this week, Charles. Brock Bowers is back for Georgia.
Yeah. He was definitely going to play in the SEC game.
I figured you and I talked about it. Shut him down. Yeah,
that's the start decision.
We knew that wasn't going to happen. So
hell no.
No.
They're about to take a pay cut. He's got to play as much as he can. Right. For our listeners out there, you need to realize that when college students now go to the NFL, they're taking a pay cut. So this might work out even better for college football. I want to stay making that big bucks one more year before I take my pay cut.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, maybe there's a hidden gem inside this NIL. Okay, so now we've got the big game. I think you and I are on the same page with this one. We've got Michigan and I.
We're on the same page with this game. I said it earlier. I'm going to give an actual final score. I'm going to say 34 Michigan, 3 Iowa. I'm going to say Michigan puts the bench in late third quarter, and Iowa gets down in the fourth and boots a 40-yard field goal.
Yeah. I think you are being kind. I'm going to say 35-0.
Charles, according to Cade McNamara, he knows this team.
Yeah, the other team. Cade McNamara, I wished you the very best in the first couple of weeks. At this point, your blood is now corn, and that's fine. That's fine. But if you've listened to these episodes ever, you know that I don't trust corn. I don't trust anything that goes through your body one way and comes out the exact same fucking way. I don't trust it. So there's that. Yeah, I think 35-0. And the only reason it's 35 is for the exact point you brought in. I think early in the third quarter, we set people.
You got
I'm talking 5 minutes in.
I believe they'll be up by that much, but if they're up that much, the bench is coming in because they're resting.
So I got 35-0. You've got, what'd you say,
34-3.
34-3. I'm taking a huge leap on this one, defense. Honestly, any points and I'm screwed. You immediately win this. So any points at all because I picked
Well,
0.
I
So
brought that shutout meme thing and I sent you that video or whatever. I made that because
yeah.
all I heard from a lot of the news people was, yeah, it's going to be a shutout. Michigan will just pitch a shutout. I'm like,
Except for on the Freddie and Harry show. I think Freddie said
that
that
guy is a
I
lunatic.
was,
Yeah.
yeah, he said I was going to break off 2 runs and they're going to keep it close and it's going to be 21-14 Michigan at the end of the game.
Because nobody broke off big runs against Michigan the entire season, but okay.
You could have picked anything other than the run, dude, and I would have listened.
Yeah. You could have picked
Anything other than the run.
honestly, a fake punt or a kickoff or a punt return.
Pass. You could have said
Yeah.
anything other than the fucking run, but
why didn't you just say a broken play? You didn't even have to dictate what it would be.
I specifically said they're going to break off 2 runs, not 1, 2. Like, oh my God, dude.
Why? Because Michigan's going to be afraid of their passing game, that they're going to not crowd the line of scrimmage. Come on now.
No, I believe they do not attempt a catchable pass beyond 7 yards of the line of scrimmage.
Most of the time, no. Especially not with a backup. That guy played for the Badgers last year, their starting quarterback.
In 3 games against Michigan, bro, I don't think he has scored 10 total points.
Oh no, I don't think so either. That coach, they don't know what the fuck they're doing in Iowa.
They fired the guy they shouldn't have, for one.
No, it's not his fault.
So I'm
excited. Hopefully Ferentz kid gets a coaching job somewhere else.
Yeah, absolutely.
A better opportunity.
Shout out to Tyreek Hill, by the way, before we jump on this. That whole NFL scenario. We'll get on that here quickly afterwards, actually.
Oh, yeah. Hey, they're good buddies.
You got Louisville, Florida State. I'm picking Florida State regardless of the I'm picking Florida State, man.
I got Louisville by 7.
You got Louisville by 7. I like that.
Yeah, I'm going to say 27-20.
Yeah. I can't give you a score. I don't really trust FSU.
You don't have to. You don't have to. They lose, they're out. You don't have to really give a score. It's just, are they going to win?
All they got to do is win.
At this point,
you're going to hear a whole bunch of people talk, regardless of how they won. You're going to hear a whole bunch of people chatter about it, and I'm telling you, they win and they're in.
So that game is outside in the elements.
Yeah.
Yeah, 45 degrees game time.
So then the rest of the games on the schedule, we won't go through and pick them.
No, we don't have to.
Matter.
We can run through our NFL picks real quick, though.
We gave our little.
Oh, we talked about it for like 28 minutes. We talked about college football, so we got on the train a little too hard.
All right, scrolling down. Here we go. Yeah, the Seahawks and the Cowboys. I'm laughing, arguably. So I did make a post. I'm like, listen, the Seahawks are 6-6 on the schedule. The Cowboys have yet to beat a winning team. And now I'm hearing the Jets were 1-0 when we beat them. And well, the Seahawks were technically 6-5 when we beat them. Okay, so we're talking about the Jets and the Seahawks here as your teams on that winning record. Y'all are doing great. Really good job. Your defense gave up a whole bunch at home to Seattle. I love where you guys are.
Charles, change it. You guys didn't beat a team that maintained a winning record there.
Absolutely. I just don't know what to tell you. I fucking have no idea what to tell you. You get between the 20s, you guys get a whole bunch of yards. And in the red zone, you don't do shit. And if you're thinking about the last 4 weeks, you should remember specifically that I and many other people agree that for the first time in NFL history, the Dallas Cowboys had 4 straight bye weeks. And that's all there is to that. The Dolphins at the Commanders. Devon Achane is healthy. He's a go. Sorry, Roman.
Yeah, I took Mostert out of the lineup because I feel like they've been working him way too hard, and I feel like Achane is going to get probably 15 to 18 carries. I took him out for you. It's okay. He only had 30 some points by CeeDee Lamb. It's all right. I went from having a 44% chance of winning, and after one fucking game, it dropped to 22%. So it doesn't matter what I put in at this point. So I'm not making the playoffs anyway. I just don't want to be like bottom 3. So
yeah.
It's all right.
It's fucking insane. I'm so glad Achane's back, dude. I'm serious. We'll see. We'll see.
I will see. They need him healthy for if they're going to make the playoffs, though. So let's see how he does. Hopefully, he does really good today or next or
Absolutely.
Sunday. My bad.
So
Keep
we've
thinking
got.
it's Sunday.
Let's see. I believe you've got the AFC this week, and I've got the NFC. So I'm going.
Yeah, I got a good one for you.
Yeah.
Want me to just give you yours right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
I got you the Denver Broncos and the Houston Texans.
I'm going to take the Broncos in this one. And I'm hard on Sean Payton. I'm hard on the Denver Broncos. I like what they've been doing.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not picking them, but obviously I agree with you that they're going to get to Stroud's head and he's going to throw a couple picks.
Okay, so I'm going to give you. Oh my God.
There's not very many. There's only one.
No,
good
the
match.
one I got to give you, 49ers Eagles. I got to give you the 49ers Eagles. And then I'm going to take. What the fuck?
Once you take Pat, you can take a interconference game. It's fine.
I'm gonna have to because my only other option.
I want you to take that Monday night game. I take that Packers Chiefs game. I want you to take that one.
I'll take the Packers Chiefs game. I'm gonna pick Green Bay. I'm gonna pick Green Bay to win it. The Chiefs' second half offense has not been great against good defenses, and Green Bay is a top 10 defense. They're a good defense. I like Green Bay in this one. I like what our offense has been doing. I understand the Chiefs defense. I think this game is going to be 21-17 Green Bay. I think it's going to be 21-17 Green Bay.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get a good one. I think Jordan Love's going to throw for 2 and AJ Dillon or Jaden Reed is going to run for 1. And our defense is going to keep the Chiefs under 20. That's not unheard of. It's happened multiple times so far this season. It's going to happen again. At Lambeau Field, it's going to be electric. You got the Swifties in there.
Yeah, Swifties. You think
okay,
they're going to give her a crappy spot to sit? I heard that they were going to do what they did to Mahomes, Jordan Love's mom and dad or whatever. They made him sit like in the fucking nosebleeds at Arrowhead when he played.
Yeah, Taylor Swift already bought the booth out. That's the thing nobody else realizes. Yeah. She's going to be there.
What booth? The fuck? I didn't know they had any private ones.
Yeah, they got. Oh yeah, they got boxes. They got.
Well, yeah, but I thought that those boxes were already companies owned them.
Yeah. There's some investment firms.
Yeah.
You'll see a commercial here coming up quick, and it'll be that box.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I'm telling you.
Okay, I'm just gonna have her. She's gonna be like, "I'll do a commercial for you."
Yeah, you heard it here first.
Yeah, Charles calls it.
Swift will be there, but I'm more excited to see Simone Biles. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, she's awesome.
So I gave you the 49ers Eagles.
I went back and forth. I listened to a lot of what Mike said, but I think this is the game that Jalen Hurts can't take them back against. This is a team that he can't. The Niners aren't going to stop coming after Jalen Hurts, and if he's not 100% healthy, they're not winning this game. And I don't think he's 100% healthy, but that 49ers defense is looking better and better every week. You still got Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
You still got Purdy. Yeah. I think the Niners are gonna win, they're gonna cover, and they might even win by double digits.
We could just see the 49ers destroy the NFC East and everyone stop talking about the Eagles and Cowboys and start recognizing how great the 49ers are when healthy.
And the thing is, this is more of a must win for the 49ers because they don't want to drop to 8-4.
Yeah. This isn't this is arguably
it's not a necessary win for the Eagles.
The Eagles can lose this game and next week and still walk away with the number one.
Yeah, that's why this is more of a must win for the Niners. That's why I feel like they're gonna they're gonna come out fired up.
So random though that the Eagles are a home underdog at 10-1. It's so fucking random. For Vegas to rather be wrong than right. Oh my God. That's crazy to me. All right. And then you've got the other AFC matchup here. Who are you taking? I see a bunch of cripple fights.
Yeah. That's a bunch of cripple fights. It is really bad. There's not a whole lot going on for AFC.
Just pick a rando.
I'll go with I'll go with the Monday night game. That was
Bengals,
a Sunday night
Jaguars?
game, by the way, the Chiefs Packers. I'll take Bengals Jaguars. That's
Yeah,
fine.
all right. Who you grabbing
Um,
on that one?
Jacksonville is big favorites.
Yeah.
And this is the
Browning
time
is a
where
pretty good quarterback, and he's got some weapons with some practice
Yeah.
underneath him now. Does he just chuck it to Jamar and make this closer than we think?
now that their other guy's back too.
Higgins?
Higgins is back from being concussion protocol, and I think he had bad knee or hamstring. But I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in that offense. I'm going to say Jacksonville squeaks one out, gets to 9-3, and then puts the pressure back on the Chiefs for that number 1 overall seed.
And coming into this week, as the post mentioned, I was 8-4 and you were 6-6. Together, we are 44-24, 44-27 through 6 weeks. We started this 6 weeks ago. All right, let's blow through the rest of the games. We've got Dolphins at the Commanders. I think we're both hot on Miami on this one.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we've got Lions at the Saints. I want to scream that this is a get-right game for the Lions.
This is not going to be as easy as they expect it to be. But I still expect Detroit to have enough offense, but they might get beat up physically in this game.
Here's the kicker. I think this is the game that Detroit starts to feel better about themselves again.
Oh, yeah. Their
secondary gives up big plays, but Derek Carr gives up more turnovers than big plays. I think they're going to feast on Carr. I really do. Have we heard anything on this Chris Olave situation? Is he playing?
No.
Was he arrested?
No, I didn't.
We don't. I think the safe bet for now is the Lions.
Speaking of which, Von Miller turned himself in for domestic violence. Apparently, he beat up a pregnant woman.
Yeah, I should drop the Bills defense. I've had enough of them.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that was breaking news too.
Yeah. So Jets Falcons.
Jets Falcons. This is the cripple thing that I think you were talking about. But I'm higher on the Falcons right now than I am on the Jets. So I'm going to take Falcons, man.
How much magic does Aaron Rodgers bring to that locker room?
I don't know. He's practicing, but he won't be playing.
If the Jets lose this game, Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back.
Oh, guaranteed. They have no shot. How far out of the wild card are they?
They're not eliminated yet. So
they're eliminated.
I think the Jets defense is going to play so hungry that offense doesn't have to do much. And Atlanta,
I keep forgetting Desmond Turnover Ritter is the quarterback.
That's what I'm saying.
Atlanta.
Bro, I picked up the Jets defense this week in fantasy for these reasons. I think the Rodgers, as much as I hate it, I think the Rodgers effect is real. And
here's
I think
the thing.
The Jets are going to play hungry. They're going to walk away with a win here.
Here's the thing. I think if Atlanta fed the ball 20 plus times to Bijan Robinson, they win this game.
And they won't.
They won't. So,
they won't.
Like you said, Jets probably will win.
I'd rather
take the Falcons.
Yeah, I'd rather for the story the Jets lose. But yeah, I'm going to pick the Jets in this one. You're going to take the Falcons.
Yeah, I'll take the Falcons.
So then we're going to move to the Cardinals Steelers. Everything in fantasy says drop your Arizona players on your bench this week. I don't disagree with that.
No.
I wouldn't put Pickens in if I were you, but I am taking the Steelers in this one, which just
I got
makes
Steelers as well. I don't think Atlanta can stop. They can stop the run.
I agree, but this is going to take the Steelers to what, 9 or 10 wins?
The Steelers? 8.
Yeah.
You're 7-4.
They're 7-4. It's going to take them to 8 wins. That'll be interesting.
That might be enough because they've got another couple to get that double-digit win, and they'll be in the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. Mike Tomlin, we brought it up before. I'm telling you that he's going to start getting put in the discussion for Coach of the Year because of how he's actually coaching. He doesn't have players that are surprising. He is coaching his squad. He's probably not high on the list, but he's on my short list.
Yeah.
So then you've got Colts versus the Titans. What is going on in Tennessee?
They are bad.
Do we trust Tennessee at all? Or are we actually picking Gardner Minshew here? Are we picking the Chew?
Yeah, we're picking the Chew.
We're picking the Chew in this one.
Picking the Chew.
Who, if the season ended yesterday, the Colts are in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Jesus
Wild.
Christ.
Wow.
So then you've got the Chargers versus the Patriots.
Color cripple fight. This might be even a
Who
bigger
the fuck
cripple
is Bill
fight.
Belichick gonna goddamn bench this week? Zappy?
I don't know.
Malik.
No,
Which one does he bench?
He claims Zappy was the starter this week.
Okay, so it'll be Zappy benched in the third. I'm telling you.
Yeah, Zappy will get bets, but it ain't gonna be Mac Jones. Who's their third string quarterback? Let's look at
Malik.
the
So Malik.
Is it Malik Willis?
Cunningham, yeah.
Malik Cunningham. Never. Who the hell's Malik Cunningham?
Or I might be adding two names together, but I know it's Malik something.
No, you are absolutely correct. Played at Louisville. I never heard of this guy.
Yeah, so that'll be fun to watch. You got another Panthers at Buccaneers. You got to think Todd Bowles rights the ship down there in Tampa against Carolina. The Carolina's a really bad team, but
Carolina is just they're in a fucking tailspin.
you can't pick Carolina to win. You can't pick Carolina to win, I guess, right?
No.
So then you've got Joe Flacco. And the Cleveland Browns. Joe is the starter this week. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Joe Flacco versus the Rams.
You and I talked about this. We had a podcast episode where you said, you know who I'd go out and get? Joe Flacco. And it was like last week.
Yeah.
And what did they do? They went out and got Joe. Are they listening to us, Charles? Are they listening to us?
And I hope not. That's a Cleveland team, but I'm picking the Browns.
Cleveland. Apparently the Cleveland fans must be listening to us.
With a resurged Joe Flacco, I'm picking the Browns. I like that story. Then that's it, man. You got the Browns in that one too?
I got the Browns as well. I'm like I said, we're both high on Flacco. I would love it if he comes back. He has like 3 touchdowns and like 275 yards.
He does not have to do much. He just can't get a concussion, and he can't throw interceptions.
Don't turn the ball over.
Or fumble, I guess. Just don't do those 3.
He hasn't played in a long time. Last year? Was he with the Jets last season?
2 seasons ago.
Who was he with last year? Was he a backup last year?
Who knows? He stayed in shape, though. He kept praying to somebody.
Yeah.
So that's our picks. I like them. You've got the 49ers in Jacksonville. I got Denver and Green Bay.
Yep.
I might go 0-2. We're being realistic here.
Yeah.
And you're looking, dude, you might tie this week. We might end up in a tie. You're 6-6 right now, and I'm 8-4. If I go 0-2 and you go 2-0, which is exactly what it's looking, we both end up 8-6.
Hey,
that's fucking. Let's go. That's fucking sweet. Bet that money. If you're in another state, of course, that allows it.
Yeah, if you're in Illinois or Michigan, bet that money.
We're hot. 44 and 27 coming in. We've only got one discrepancy this week. I like it a lot. I think that's about it, man. Wraps up another great show. You got anything else? We've got some great guests coming up this week.
Yeah, this week we should have Brennan on Wednesday, and we'll put that episode out on Thursday. I believe he's going to be working one of his last days in the woods, but it will be an audio interview. But he will definitely be on for a video interview later in the year. But we'll get that audio interview. If anybody out there has any questions that they want to ask, let Charles and I know, because we're going to have him on, and it sounds like he doesn't have a time frame. He's all ours for as long as we want him.
Awesome. That'll be sweet. Long list of questions coming forth. But otherwise, let's go Blue. Go Pack, go. Great football weekend.
Go Blue. Charles says 35-0.